Yam Brahma Varnanda Rudra Maruta Sunnanti Dibbaistavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakramapanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatina Manasa Pushyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. From the meditation of the Gita. I salute the Shining One, whose praise is sung in diverse hymns by Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, and the Maruts, whose glories are proclaimed by the bards of the verses and proclaimed by the glories are proclaimed by the birds in the verses and chapters of the Vedas, whom the yogis see when their minds are absorbed in contemplation, and whose limit is not known by the hosts of gods and others. Om Shanti, 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 peace, 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 control. This morning our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 85. We are starting the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Vibhuti Yoga, Divine Manifestations. In this chapter, Krishna will tell us how to find God. All people in this world are searching God. Knowingly or unknowingly. Why? Because you cannot help it. The French philosopher Pascal says you will never, never search for God if you do not know Him. We know God. Indirectly, not directly. Sometimes we are very helpless. We do not find the way out from this trap of Maya. We seek help. We seek help. From whom should we seek help? The person who is free from Maya. That Krishna says, Mameva ye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. Those who take refuge in me, I help them to cross this turbulent ocean of Maya. God needs devotees. Devotees also need God. Why does God need devotees? He feels lonely. Eko aham bhavisyam prajayeti. I am one alone. So Ditiyam Uchat, he wanted the second one. If there is no devotees, God will sleep. Nobody is calling me, why should I get out? Or get up from my cosmic sleep? And the devotees also need God. Because as I said, when we are in deep trouble, we need help. And we know He is the person who is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. He is all-perceiving, merciful, all-powerful. He will help us. You know, sometimes I see, sometimes the doctors declare that you have terminal, some kind of disease. You have only 3 months' time to live. No, you might have plenty of money, but nobody can help you. At that time, what do? Your mind will definitely go to that person who can help me. He is God. In the beginning of creation, God existed. our Upanishad tells us, Ekam eva advityam, he is one without a second. Ekam eva advityam. 3 words the Upanishad used. Ekam means one. Then one, then maybe 2. So Upanishad negates it, advityam, one without a second. It does not want you to think, project a more, that one. God is one. And where is that one God? That Krishna will tell us in this chapter. One cannot play alone, one needs a playmate, so God created all beings as his playmate, and this world is playground, we are all playing. Sometimes when we play well, we are happy. When we do not play well, we are unhappy. Cardinals cannot win every year. Some years we lose, some years we win. That's all. That is called play. Both parties will not win. How can we return to God? Krishna himself tells us in these 3 verses which I am going to recite. To me, these are the 3 most important verses of the Gita, where Krishna tells us what you are supposed to do and what I am going to do to you. A clear message, no ambiguity, no dilly-dally, a straight answer. Matchitta madgato prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayanta shamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritibudvakam dadamya buddhi yugamadam yanamam upayanti te tesham evunukam partha mahamajganajam tamaha nashayim atma bhavastu Gyanodipena Vasvata. These 3 verses, sometimes I recite when I go for walk. Sometimes in the shrine also I recite. It helps me to make my mind focus. What am I doing? What am I doing? Where is my mind? It will bring your mind on the right track immediately. When it happens in our spiritual life, we really know where are the loopholes and we can correct it. I shall first read the translation first. Do you know why we cannot hold these things in our minds? Because there are 4 kinds of intellects that we are going to discuss. Buddhi Yogam. We have 4 kinds of intellects. First kind of intellect is the stony intellect. Here is a stone, you hit a nail will break. Some people's minds, the intellect are so gross, no spiritual things can enter there. Second kind of intellect is rubber intellect. Here is rubber. You hit the nail will go, again the nail will come back. Rubber will throw the nail back, out. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it comes out. Leather intellect. You hit the nail, it will go perhaps this much and there it will stick. It will not go through. Fourth, oil intellect. 1 drop of oil you put in this bucket of water, immediately it spreads. You will find the oil spread the entire surface of the buckets of water. That kind of intellect we need, which has a tremendous grasping power, which understands deeply, intensely. That Krishna will tell us. You must develop buddhi yoga, buddhi, intellect. Now I shall read the translation first of these 3 verses which I recited to you. We shall study these three verses from different angles. Mat-chitta. With their minds wholly in me, with their senses absorbed in me, enlighten each other and always speaking of me, they are satisfied and delighted. To them ever steadfast and serving me with affection, I give that Buddhi Yoga by which they come unto me. Out of mere compassion for them, I, abiding in their hearts, destroy the darkness in them, born of ignorance, by the luminous lamp of knowledge. So first three lines for us, and last three lines for Krishna, God. We shall study word by word. Mat-chitta. Chitta, mind. Chitta also memory. As I told you, always be careful about these four things in what is in your antakarana, inner organ. You have a mind which thinks, pros and cons, desire and doubts, all are in the mind. Chitta, storehouse. Whatever you are thinking, immediately, instantly it goes to the hard disk, store in the memory. That is your chitta, you have. Third, buddhi, intellect. When you are indecisive, this is right, this is wrong, your intellect comes and says, this is right. This is the right decision. Buddhi is the decision maker. Always remember, in your mind, inside. And ego, I consciousness. Always watch your four things inside. Your buddhi, determinative faculty, decision maker, mind thinks back and forth, chitta, storehouse, ego, I consciousness. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. These four things are very, very important to understand. So what does chitta do? Do you know what does chitta do? Suppose you go in your backyard, there is a rose garden, you see a beautiful rose. Immediately your chitta will take that form. That is the job of the chitta. Memory. We call it mind stuff. They chitta, they take the impression and holds it. Then do you know what the mind says? Chitta vritti. Mind says, let me take this flower and offer to the Lord in my shrine. That is your mind's job. Immediately mind desire comes, I shall take that flower and offer to the Lord. Look how chitta and mind both are working. Krishna is saying, mat-chitta. Put your mind in me. Focus it on me. Now you see that 24 hours in your hand. How many minutes your mind is focused on God? You know it very well. Even sitting in shrine for 1 hour, bullfight. Mind is not going. Mind goes to that place which you love. That is the nature of the mind. The thing which you love, that you think. The person you love, you carry that person in your heart. So am I carrying God in my heart or not? In the shrine, you do not need psychologist or psychiatrist. You know where is your mind and why mind is going to that direction, because you love it. If you love God, Sri Ramakrishna, Mother, your mind immediately will go there. Or your guru, mind will go there. Amazing, this mind. Mat-chitta. Madgoto prana. Prana, the senses, energy, always going toward different directions, outgoing. That is the way God made the sense organs, with outgoing tendencies. The Upanishad tells us there are some people with a view to seeing the Atman, turn the mind inward. That is the reason when we meditate, we try to close our eyes and see within. If you watch, you will see mind is going through the eyes. My grandchild, my job, my money, all these things, mind is going through the eyes. At that time, no, if you fight for 5 minutes, mind will come under your control. Madgata prana, your energy, should be conserved within. When it conserved within, do you know what happens? It becomes Niagara Falls. All this water from the Great Lake comes and focuses and comes to the Niagara. Did you see the speed of that water? My goodness. I went to see a few times. It has tremendous speed. It generates hydroelectricity in the Canadian side. I visited all these places. It has a tremendous power. So when the mind is focused, Madgata prana, it becomes very one-pointed with tremendous power. But people say, how I shall increase my willpower, that is the way. Bring the scattered mind and focus it. Madgata prana. Bodhayanta parasparam. They make them understand among themselves, the devotees. They talk about God. Hey, I do not understand it. Could you explain to me? That is the reason we need a guru. We need some good friends, spiritual friends. They discuss. I remember in our convocation address in Belur Math in 1966, the principal Swami got up and said, Vidya Chatushpad. Learning has 4 quarters. 1 quarter comes from the teacher, 1 quarter comes from the student, 1 quarter comes from the co-student through discussion, and 1 quarter comes in the course of time. So don't expect more than 1/4 from me. Very funny way he told us. Bodhayanta parasparam. Sometimes it helps. Let me tell you one incident. I was in Hollywood. One day, Swami Prabhavananda, the head Swami, he was a great Swami, Brahmananda's disciple. He was telling me, Chetanananda, I am very depressed. I asked Maharaj, why are you depressed? Previously, I used to go to the shrine 3 times a day. Now I cannot go. I have heart attack. Then I told him, Maharaj, you saw 8 or 9 direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. You saw Holy Mother. You are a disciple of Brahmananda. All their memories are inside your mind. Don't you think about them? Well, yes. They are all the time in my mind. Maharaj, that is higher than sitting in the shrine and repeating mantra. You have constant recollectedness of God. That is called Sahaja Yoga. You will not have to go to the shrine, Maharaj. That old sadhu, 82 years old, immediately said, look, you saved me from my depression. That is called Bodhayanta Parasparam. A monks also need the company of the monks. Devotees also need the company of the devotees. They talk about Sri Ramakrishna, direct disciples, Holy Mother. That way they get joy. That is called Bodhayanta Parasparam. Next word also, Kathayanta Shamam Nityam. They talk about me. Sri Ramakrishna gave a very vivid example. Those who eat radish, belches radish. Those who drink coconut, they belches coconut. Those who day and night think about God, read about God, study God, they talk only about God. Otherwise, baseball, apple pie, Chevrolet. When I came to America, in Hollywood, I used to listen to KNS radio station to learn the American accent. So quite often, every hour, that commercial will come. Hey, American kids, what do you love? Baseball, hot dog, apple pie, Chevrolet. These are the 4 things they love. So that thing. And Sri Ramakrishna made a remark about very nice way. bodhayanta kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha naran ramanti cha tushyanti. They get tremendous satisfaction. You see, in spiritual life, satisfaction is very, very important. If you do not get joy, why will you come here? Girish Ghosh told, if I would not get joy, I would not go to Sri Ramakrishna second time. The moment I go, I get so much joy and peace. That is the most important thing. Tushyanti. They get tremendous satisfaction. Ramanti. And they get tremendous joy. From satisfaction comes joy. Do you know how does it work? Listen how it works. You fast 3 days. You are very hungry. The moment I bring a plate of food and a glass of water in front of you, I shall get food. First comes satisfaction, seeing the food, but you have not eaten yet. Second stage, the moment you eat, tushti, pushti. That very moment you get a strength and you get nourishment. First satisfaction, then comes nourishment, strength inside. 3 days you did not eat, you are weak. You get a strength. Third stage, Shukpayonughasam, cessation of pain. 3 days you do not eat, you have a stomach spasm, hunger pain. That pain will go away. So 3 things will happen simultaneously. Satisfaction, nourishment, strength, and cessation of pain. I'm just telling you what happens in the spiritual life. This is the way it works. They get absorbed in God consciousness. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pridipurva. Here Krishna is giving a key that if you want to enter my realm, my home, my abode, me, I am giving you the key. Do you know what is that key? Buddhi Yoga. The door is the ego. It's closing. This is God, this is you, this world. Door is the ego. How you can open that door? Through this key. That key is Buddhi Yogam. Connection with the intellect. He manifests in the intellect. You will not have to go outside. Sometimes you go for pilgrimage, you're spending so much money, time, energy. But all the time we are carrying God within, but we do not say it. That is I always give that example, like masked deer. The deer runs around without knowing that musk is in the navel. Similarly, we are carrying God in our hearts, but we are not aware of it. The Guru, the Ishta, when they gave that connection, you will be aware that where you are. This commentator says, Atma bhavastu, dadami buddhi yogam, so that they can reach me. I make their lives favorable. It is true. Look, if you have genuine longing, yearning, remember, God will come and help you. Sri Ramakrishna said, the moment you see the golden glow in the eastern horizon, that indicates the sun will rise very soon. Similarly, in your spiritual life, when you have this longing, yearning for God, That is the signal that you will realize God very soon. That he is talking about. Udbhashita. Buddhi. What kind of buddhi? Atma bhavasto. Do you know what we do at that time? Krishna says, I go and dwell in their heart. And I illumine their heart. How? Buddhi vritti aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Or I am a devotee of God. In this way I give them connection. Their eye become spiritual eye, luminous eye. That little eyes, the ripe eye develops. That's Shastra I'm going to say. There are two types of ego. Ripe ego, unripe ego. Unripe ego, I am beautiful, I am learned, I am rich. Ripe ego, I am a devotee of God, I am a child of God, in this way they spiritualize the ego. So at that time your ego is luminous. That he is talking about. Aham brahmakara vritti udeti, I am Brahman. At that time your all ignorance, desire goes away. He was talking about how? Onukam partham, out of grace, out of mercy, I do that. I light the lamp of wisdom in their heart and destroy the gloom of darkness, ignorance. That is my job, that Krishna says. What happens at that time? Tesham satata yuktana. They are constantly connected with me, these people, my devotees. To them I come forward to do this job. Satata yukta. In the Chandogya Upanishad, in the 7th chapter, there is a verse. Sanat Kumar said to Narada, Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhi Sattva Shuddhau Dhruva Smriti Smriti Lambe Sarva Gruntinam Vipra Moksha. Ahar, food which we eat. Shuddhau. Ahar means what we gather through the senses inside. Your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose. We are constantly gathering all the sense objects within. So if all good things you put within, your mind is bound to be good. That Upanishad says. Ahara Shuddha, pure food, Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva means mind, your mind will be pure. Sattva Shuddha, Dhruva Smriti. When the mind is pure, it will think only about God. Pure mind only thinks about God. It does not think about the world. Ahara Shuddha, Sattva Shuddhi. Then, Sarva Gruntinam Vipramoksha. When the mind becomes pure, then all of your ignorance, knots of the heart will be cut asunder. You will be free. That Upanishad says. Krishna already made a remark. Abhikumpito yogena. Abhikumpito. Meaning your mind should not flicker like this. It will be very steady mind. You know, sometimes I see people, most of the people I see nowadays, mind is not steady. It is how to make the mind steady. That only you can learn from this practicing yoga. Look, another commentator says, how to calm the mind. Be a devotee of God and fall in love with God. Then your mind will be absorbed in God. And then, thus your mind will be calm, serene. Do you know what Gita, Puja, what Kutustham? Kut mane, do you know what Kut means? Anvil. Here is the anvil and here is the blacksmith. He put a red hot iron on the anvil and with a hammer he hits. To this man of wisdom, his mind is just like an anvil. A hot iron, a heat, nothing perturbs that person. Sometimes I visualize, I am that anvil. nothing can shake me. When the mind becomes one with that Atman, it becomes tremendous, it develops tremendous power of absorption. You know, those words we read, it has a deep meaning. That is the way my teacher used to teach me. That take a word, meditate on it, visualize it, see how it goes with your heart, within your mind. Then he says, how can I divert the mind through my Ishta? Priti Purvakam, have some love. A buddhi vritti. When buddhi goes outside, it brings action and the result of action. When that buddhi goes inside, it becomes calm, serene. That is mat chitta madgata prana. Tushyanti, they get happiness. Do you know how? Let me give an example. Chaitanya had a disciple named Srinivas. He invited Chaitanya in his house. They are singing kirtan and they are in a great mood. Meanwhile, his son died. And his wife in the inner apartment began to cry because her son died. Srinivas went inside and asked his wife, please do not cry. We cannot get back our son. He has died. But we should not destroy the happiness, joy which is flowing in my house by the grace of Chaitanya. Please wait. Let his bhajan finish. You know, I sometimes visualize these things. What kind of mind they have. Another story comes to my mind. M's daughter died. So one monk went to see M. Inside the house, people are crying. So M sat in the living room and talked to this monk and gave him some refreshment. Then asked M, sir, I hear some people are crying inside the house. Oh, yes. There is a daughter of this house died. That is the reason the people are crying. His own daughter. But he believes wholeheartedly it is all Sri Ramakrishna's. The daughter, Sri Ramakrishna gave me the daughter, Sri Ramakrishna took away. Who am I? Thy will be done. You know, when we read these stories, we understand who is a true devotee of God. Unparted. These things, Krishna says, these are the signs of a true devotee. Of course, we shall read elaborately in the 12th chapter. Then Tushyanti Ramanti. Do you know what is Ramanti? If you play well, you are so happy. So Gopalarma, Sri Ramakrishna's woman devotee, she repeated mantra 30 years, 16 hours a day and had the vision of baby Krishna. 30 years, 16 hours a day. We cannot think of it. So Krishna began to play with her. When she would go in the garden to get some dry wood for cooking, Krishna would pick up those woods and give to her. Take this wood. One day she cooked and she was offering food to Krishna on a leaf plate and wind was blowing, the leaf was blown away. She was crying and telling, I cannot offer food to the Lord today. Immediately saw Krishna came and pressed the leaf. Now you empty the food on my plate. This is called how God plays with the devotees. That is Ramanti, Tushyanti. At that time, now, tremendous satisfaction comes in the mind. You cannot buy God through, I have so many thousands and japam and so many hours of meditation. It does not go that way. Anukampartham, out of grace. The people are ego sensitive, very difficult for them to enter this realm. Touchy, egotistic, sensitive, no way. With buddhi jog, his buddhi is not connected with me, that Krishna says. There are two causes. One is pratikular vidyamanata. Still there is tremendous ignorance in the mind. And second, anukular avidyamanata. Favorable things is not there. That is the reason there is a turmoil in the mind. Ignorance, and there is no spirituality. So the mind at that time rotates. It moves. Indecisive. That he is talking about. Well, do I destroy ignorance, darkness? That is my job. And what you only destroy, will you not give to me? Dadami, I give. Buddhijo, I connect them with me so that they can get eternal peace and bliss. Beautiful, these verses. Anyhow, let us see where we are. In spiritual life, another test is contentment. Whether you are moving toward spiritual life or not, you test yourself. Santoshat, Santoshat Anuttama Sukhalabha, Patanjali says in Yoga Sutra, from the contentment comes tremendous peace. Santosh. I have no wants. God gave me everything. That is called contentment. Otherwise, there is no end of human desires. Who Doridra? Who is poor? Shankara answered in Mani Ratnamala, gem, guardian of gems. Jasa Trishna Vishala, the person who has many desires, he is poor. You may be a billionaire, doesn't matter. Sri Ramakrishna gave another illustration. Tushyanti Ramanti. Tushyanti means, he says, the nature of the devotees is like hemp smoker. I have seen in our village, they will smoke like this. Then he will give the next person. He will give another puff. He will give the next person. In this way, that hemp, that we call it coal cage, and it is like a, it is a cup like that. Chilim. That will come and rotate. If I smoke alone, I will not get joy. But if I have many, same thing, drunkards also, they toast each other. You get drunk, I shall get drunk. That means if there is a good thing, I should not eat alone. I must share with you. That is Tushyanti. It is the nature of the devotees. When they see they are together, they talk about God. Gajakhorer Shabab. Kaho Krishna Katha. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you will find mention that Sri Ramakrishna's room was a mart of joy. That is the language, aim, the author has used there. Full of joy, always radiating joy. In Bengali, it is called Majar Kuti. The Kuti for Maja, the heart of joy, or the mart of joy. How shall we get joy? Really, truly speaking, if there is no joy in spiritual life, people will commit suicide. We are getting so joy and looking for more joy. So in the Pandava Gita, there is a verse Nityo Chava Bhavete Sham Nitya Sri Nitya Mangalam Yesham Ridista Bhagavan Mangalatanam Hari. The people who carry God in their hearts, they experience festivity all the time. We want festivity, we want joy, we want peace, we want happiness. That means you will have to put God in your heart. At present, He is not manifest. Only our own ego is manifest in us. We have to shed this ego through a spirit of service. Service is the best means to shed the ego. It is a wonderful teaching. By leading a life of service, we reduce the ego to thin proportions. And as the ego becomes less and less, the divine becomes more and more manifest in the heart of human being. Ego. I remember I went to take bath in Prague. Our Ganges and Yamuna met together. So myself and another my monk's friend, we 3 monks are there, another devotee. We are in a boat. So we had our bath there in the confluence. So this monk friend was telling me, do you know what is our problem? Our problem is ego. Then he gave a beautiful analogy. Do you see the Shalogram Shila, the emblem of Vishnu? Very smooth stone. Well, these stones are in the Himalayas. Uneven big piece of rock carried away by the Ganges, stream of the Ganges, thousands of years perhaps. And these rocks hit each other and all the sharpness go away. Then it becomes a small and beautiful, very smooth. Well, that the Hindus worship. So he was talking about in our order, if you live alone, nobody is going to break your ego. So if you live in a community life, you break my ego, I shall break your ego. So through friction, our egos will be polished and we will be worshipped. He gave a beautiful analogy. Ego. I have seen some people, if you do not accept my words, I shall not work. Ego. But it is a privilege that I got a chance to serve Sri Ramakrishna. Without me also, somebody will work, take this job and will work. I never think that without me this whole place will collapse. Swami, we become the past away, still Ramakrishna mission going on. I remember when I went to the training center, the principal Swami told me, many are called, but few are chosen. Young man, serve the master. If you serve, God's blessing, God's grace will come on you. Otherwise, big ego. God doesn't touch those people. Somebody said that in the Bible it is written, let thy kingdom come. Every day we pray, let thy kingdom come. We go on repeating it hundreds of times. Yet that kingdom does not come at all. What is the reason? And he gave the reason. The corollary has not been achieved. What is that? Let my kingdom go. Then only his kingdom will come. The little I must go. Do you know what is talking about in this connection? He wants to give connection with us, but we do not want the connection. That's the problem. Buddhi joke, our intellect should be, God says, I want to connect your ego with me, buddhi with me, but you are refusing. No. You are diverting your mind to the other direction. So God is also helpless. I remember a verse in the Kaushika Upanishad. Yamebbo lokebbo ninishatitam sadhu karma karoyati sam sadhu chintayati. Whom God will lift upward, He will force that person to do good action. He will force that person to think good things, think good thoughts. And vice versa. When you find that you got a chance to work for the Lord and think about God, that means you got good signal that He is attracting you. Please believe me, it is in the Upanishad. When you go to any temple, immediately become silent, inward. Try to listen to what the Lord has to say to you. Learning to listen is a great thing in spiritual life. The first doorway to yoga. Yoga is the pratamam dwaram bangnirodo aparigraho. The first door to enter the realm of yoga is silence. Control your tongue. Next, the Swami says, hunger. Vedanta presents religion in the most rational way, studying human possibilities. In a hunger for food, the hunger is satisfied by taking food. In a hunger for knowledge, we satisfy it by education, by study, by thinking. It is palpable hunger. Similarly, is the hunger for the divine. No amount of books can give you satisfaction. An experience of the divine alone can satisfy that hunger. That is a wonderful hunger. So our scriptures place before humanity in all these possibilities and invite each one to go from one possibility to next. Never be stagnant at one level. Even at the intellectual level, do not be stagnant. There is still one step more to go. Then you will achieve real goal, real fulfillment in the true sense on the term. Another thing in spiritual life, preparation. Swami Bhutishananda quite often used to tell the devotees, prepare yourself. When you cook food, you go to the stores, buy groceries, you make the thing what you are going to cook, then you follow the recipe, you cook. It takes long time to prepare the food. But eating, just 15 minutes, done. Boom, it goes in the stomach. But you spend 2 hours to prepare a lunch or a good dinner. Of course, here everything, sometimes you will get everything canned. but real food, real dinner, it takes time to go. Preparation. You invited the President of the United States to your home. What will you do? You paint the house, you buy the furniture, carpet, paint, everything tip-top. Then security people, secret service people come, will check around your house, and they will check what menu you will give to the president. What a big preparation to bring the president in your house. And you want to bring God to your house, don't you need any preparation? This Ramakrishna told one crazy fellow named Podo. This fellow was a crazy mad fellow in the village. It was a rainy day. He went into a temple and was blowing the conch. People are thinking somebody installed the deity in the temple. Actually, it is an old dilapidated temple inside cobwebs and the bats' nests and terrible odor. So in the evening, all villagers came there and they found that Podo was blowing the conch and dancing. Then the villager says, Podo, shak fuke tui korli go. You created a commotion, blowing the conch. We are all invited to see the deity. But you did not clean the deity, shrine. You did not install the deity. So all people left. So that thing happens. If God comes to enter your room, in your house, in your heart, if we are not prepared, it is unclean, He will not stay there. He may come because you were intensely invited, but He will not stay there long. I sometimes in Hollywood, I used to make a joke. When somebody came, I go, you people want to see God. Suppose you are lying down in bed, Jesus appeared before you. What will you do? Tell me. But you will be scared to death. He will call 911. But I am not prepared to receive you. Please stand in my picture on the wall. That is a good place. Please don't come near me. I'm going to definitely will call 911. That means we are not prepared to accept, to receive Lord in our heart. In the Gita, yoga word has been used 80 times to unite yourself with God. How to unite? Whole mystery is how to connect ourselves with God. Then the eternal flow of peace and bliss will flow inside. That channel is stopped by ego. Union. All religions will talk you. Divine communion. Christianity, it is a big thing. Divine communion. Union. This union, God and man, Jiva and Ishvara, this union is very vital. We understand physical union, very temporary. Mental union, long. Spiritual union, eternal. Union, how can we connect ourselves with God? That Krishna is talking about Buddhi Yoga. Jnanena hina poshubi shamana. If you do not have this knowledge, a buddhi, connection with God, you are like animals. Mahabharata says, we eat, animals eat. We sleep, animals sleep. We procreate children, animals procreate children. We have fear, animals have fear. In these four aspects, there is no difference between man and animal. What is the difference? Dharmena hina, jnanena hina. If you can practice dharma, you can practice knowledge. The animals cannot do that. In that respect, animals and human beings are different. A rose does not struggle to send out its beautiful scent. It naturally goes out. So also a human being becomes naturally good, naturally spiritual, naturally moral and ethical. In all this, a higher nature than the external physical nature is involved. So Krishna says here, I give him or her buddhi yoga, jena mam upayanti je, so that they can reach me. Another thing, nice thing Krishna mentioned here, I like the lamp of wisdom. I remember a beautiful story of Zarathustra. He asked his disciples, light the lamp. He went with the matchstick, tried to light the lamp, it did not light. Light did not come? No, sir. Check what is the cause. Sir, there is no oil there, it is water. Empty the water, put oil. He put oil. Light the lamp. Again he tried, it did not light. What is the cause? Sir, the wick is full of water, there is no oil there. Squeeze the wick, dip into the oil, and light it. Now light the lamp, it lighted. There is a great lesson in this teaching of Zarathustra. How to light the lamp. You know, that oil is devotion. The wick is that one pointed vine. They gave the very beautiful, the discrimination between the Atman and non-Atman is the knowledge. Devotion is oil. Concentration to God is the air. Brahmacharya, self-control, is the wick. Renunciation is the heart. The heart, the house is free from attachment and aversion. There, the lamp will be lighted by the grace of God. Out of mere compassion, I, abiding in their hearts, destroy the darkness in them, born of ignorance, by the luminous lamp of knowledge. That is a beautiful feeling, you know. Such is the reason we feel How can we light the lamp in our hearts? By God's grace, Sri Ramakrishna says, if the room is dark for 1,000 years, do you think light will come slowly, slowly? In the twinkling of an eye, the light may come in the house. God's grace. If you make effort, Sri Ramakrishna says, if you go one step toward God, God will come 100 steps toward you. Mother helps the child to walk. 1-year-old child holding little 2 hands, walk, 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 carpet. So many times the child falls, still mother holds. When the child learns how to walk, mother is relieved. Same thing in spiritual life. Guru helps, holy people, friends, bhakta, devotees help. Then it is a journey from alone to alone. Your husband will not go with the wife, wife will not go with the husband. It is a journey from alone to alone. It is between you and God. Anyhow, Krishna told us in these 3 verses that what you are supposed to do and what I am going to do to you. Please memorize those 3 verses. It will help you. Thank you. Atma me shuddhantam jyotiraham virajavi papam bhuyasam. Antaratma me shuddhantam jyotiraham virajavi papam bhuyasam. Paramatma me shuddhantam jyotiraham virajavi papam bhuyasam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May my body become pure. May I be free from impurities and ignorance. May I realize myself as the light divine. May my mind become pure. May I be free from impurities and ignorance. May I realize myself as the light divine. May my soul become pure. May I be free from impurities and ignorance. May I realize myself as the light divine. Oh, peace, 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 peace.